In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to make the health potion and to collect them. And also, if you're getting hurt, you can use them. And also, we made this simple toolbar so we can add different things later. Okay, we wanted the player to be able to collect health potions and to use them. So let's make a toolbar here that, for example, it has we would be able to click on that and consume the health potion and also other things which later we're going to add. But right now, let's create that in the Photoshop. And I want that it be, for example, from this to this. Let me calculate. So let's make it 512 in 128 or whatever that you want. So for the background, I want that this be something like this and make it a little bit rounded. And the color be, for example, brown. And inside that, there would be some cells. So make a new layer and go here and something like that. I want to make it black and this. The thing is like this. We have this. Yes, Unity has features like using grids, but you want to make things simple. So I just go with this approach and manually add something like that. Okay. So it would be, let me add another one. One here and one here, for example. Okay. This is the health potion, or for example, we have mana potion, power potions, or speed, different things we can add, which we later work on these three things, or maybe less or more things. But right now, we're going to add the health potion here. So let me create a health potion. Here is the health potion that I have made. It is 128 in 128. And the good thing is that it's better that, for example, you make this separate. For example, this is the health potion. I can go to cover overlay and make it and change it to any other colors. So for example, for mana, I use this. For different thing, I can just change the color to make other potions. So make this a separate layer. Okay. So, and let's export that. Just brought it here, and I want something that shows the number of the potion that I have. So let's make that as well. Here, make a circle. Um, make it big enough so that the player can see those numbers here. For example, that is here. So it wouldn't be something that is very small to see. And you can put it in what's position that you want, but usually it's better to put it here. So this is your bottom. And you can make it, for example, better like adding the inner glow. No, inner, where is that? Inner glow. Opacity. and do that so it would be kind of 3D. Because it's a button and it shows that, okay, player has to click on that. Now you should export this, the background, completely separate. And also you can this and this. I mean, these two things as one layer. And you can also put all of the three things, this and this, uh, all the three as another layer. So you just merge the layer and then export it and bring it into your project. For example, okay, say merge the layer. I have this. Bring this one and this one. And for this, we need to create for that. So right now we don't need them. So I exported all of them and brought in the folder toolbar in RTUI and toolbar. So let's, I just brought that, just this would be visually good for now, but this doesn't have any purpose in this session. So 128 and this and, oh, do not do that. Let's go to canvas and make another panel that is UI panel and call it panel toolbar. Toolbar and scale it. Bring that down. Make sure it doesn't overlap with the others. Otherwise, for example, if you bring it here, then the arrows for the movement might not work. So it must have a separate layer which is not overlapping with other things. So I think here is good. And make it a smaller. That's fine for now. And then go to create UI image. Oh no, yes, for the background in the image, not the bottom. And then give that and set native size and then make it bigger. So the panel itself should be ducked into bottom. Something like this. And also this image that is the BG or the background should also be, yes, in the center, that's fine. And then on that, I want to add UI bottom, which is, let me delete the text. For that, it would be this. Native size. Put that here. And let me, that is a BTN health potion, but for simplicity, let's say health. And duplicate that just to know the other placements are good as well. So we have this. Oh, let me go to the panel and remove the ugly white. Now we have this. If you don't like the BG color, you can change it, make it a little bit darker. I think that is, I think it's good. And then we have this. Yeah, the placements are good. So you can say, okay, this bottom should goes here, or this bottom should goes there. We will then, and later we'll do that, but now we just have this. So, and here we need to add a text. So for example, beneath that, go to UI. The text is going to show us how many potions we have. So I say txt number. For example, I say health, something that you would later recognize it. And you can, this is different. This, the text is for the btn, but this is a completely different thing that is for that. And remember that you trying to make it bigger or smaller using this, because if you use this tool, the quality of the font would be very bad. So bring it here, the height, the width, and move that to this place. Yes, you could have browsed that circle as a separate image and put it here, but for the simplicity, I just did that. And let's write some numbers. It should be in the middle, and the best fit. The color is not good, so I make it completely black. So something like that. If you can, you can also decrease the size. Something like this. When you say best fit, it means that if you say 1, it will be bigger. If I have more numbers, it's kind of decrease the size. So it's advisable that you check that. Imagine that first we have 0. Okay, but you can delete that because we're going to update that through the code. And this text should be here in the corner of this bottom. And we're ready to go and do other things. But then, how the player should collect things like potion. The player, for example, we can put a potion here. That's when the player, for example, goes beside that and pass through that. By using the entry here, the number of the potion would be added here. So we need to make a potion also here. So let's go to Photoshop and do that. This is my potion, and I want to make a circle that is this size, and yes, it has stroke and to be white, but then decrease opacity. You can move that to this shape. I'm in this direction, and can even make it a little bit smaller. We have something like that, but this, let me bring a black background so you can see that better. This is too flat. You want to make it look round. Like this is the button for the recording. You don't see that, but this is here. So it's sometimes annoying. So go there. The simplest way to make 3D look is using something like that. and decrease the opacity. So that is like a bubble that is 3D. Okay. Something like this. And then you can, for example, go here and play with these numbers. Size, place, the opacity, the depth, or from which angle. The bottom was better, 90%. And I think that's good. So it has kind of a 3D look. And try to do not merge them, because later you're going to just remove that and add your other potions or other items that needs to be collected, like sword. So this is your base, and yes, here, not this one. Go and merge them, export them, and then Control Z, so it will return to their previous ones, and they are ready for your next potion. Okay, do that, and then bring this into your project. So I made another folder, UI loot, and because it's something that you collect, and correct this as always. Then you can directly put that here. Where did it go? We have something like that. But we don't want that it would be kinda stable and doesn't move. So I want to add some animation to that. So go to make itch or health potion holder, and give the animation to that. Create animation, art, asset, animation for loot or collectible items, whatever that you're comfortable. And that idle. For example, I want that here. It has this with this scale. I just did nothing. I didn't change. I just play with those things. I return it to the normal so that I would create the keyframe. And on here, make it, for example, bigger, and it moves up. And here, it just go down. You can change the speed, but I think that is good because, it kinds of visually something that is inviting. Okay, collect me, something like that. And so we have that. Now we can add the code here or here. It's better that you add code to this, because when I want to collect the item, when I say destroy, so this would be destroyed as well. So I wouldn't have just, okay, this is destroyed, but this is remaining in the scene. And I give it a collider, so I think it's good to have a circle collider 2D. Um, and this is the size. Do you see the green line? And also, yes, I think for that is it. And you can add a tag, so when a player triggers with that, it knows that, okay, this is a health potion. So that is the edge potion. and here make it edge potion. Now let's go to player and make a new script in the player. And for example, call it player collection. So whatever that the player just collects. Player. For example, the potions, or later we add coins. The first thing that I want to do is to have something that would have the number of the potion. Int edge potion number or count. At first, yes, this is 0. And I also want to show that 0 in here. Okay. So I make a serializable field, private. Oh, what is that? Text. And don't forget that you Unity Engine.ui, you add that. Text, and I'll say edge potion text. So something like that. And then I want that it would show this number. So here I say that edge potion.text is equal to this. As it is an integer, I have to cast it to string. So it will show this to there. Imagine that it is 2 at first. Go to this, so player collecting, and this is health txt number. Now let's go and see. So it shows 2. All right. So it is connected. Now I want that when I collide to that, which is I have to put in the untrigger because I cannot pass through that. I want that when I collide to that, it adds the number to here. And this we destroyed. First, let's go to health potion and make the collider is trigger. It means that my player can pass through that, and also I have to use untrigger on my code. So here I say untrigger into 2D collision. If I say, okay, just count a number, maybe the enemy is triggered to that. So I have to say only if the player. And say if collision, that's game object, that compare tag, it has to be the, as this code is for the player, so I'm sorry, I have to, yes, if the code was on that, then I have to check if something that would collide to that is a player. But as the code is for that, I have to check that if something that I'm colliding to, which is this, has the tag of this. This is the health. The edge potion. Because we might have different things, different kind of potions. So I want to make sure that if this is a health potion, so I would add this number. If it's a mana potion, which would have a different tag, then it would increase. For example, we have another integer for mana potion that would increase that. So it's important that we separate the tags. So if it collides to that, then you want to say, okay, let me return it to 0. Then you say, okay, just add one number, plus, plus. It was 0, like for example, I have collision with this one, and it adds one number. So if it was 0, it would be 1. All right, and after that, just destroy. You can, for example, add an audio source, which later we're going to add that, so it would have a sound effect of collecting. But right now, just this is fine. destroy collision that's game object. So if I only say destroy game object, it means that my player would be destroyed. But I say collision dot game object, it means this, the health potion. And don't forget that it has to be exactly this name. I forgot to. Okay, it was potion with capital P. And also, yes, it collided to that. Then this had to be updated because in the start it just is run at the beginning of the game. But now I want that. Okay, I have collided to that. Now I need to somehow again update that. So let me create another function. Now let me delete that. I say private void update H potion UI. And I just move that to here so I wouldn't just every time I write it down. I just say update potion. First here and also here. And let's see what happens. So I play the game. This is 0, 1, 2. And they're destroyed and everything. And they're also destroyed from here as well. Okay. But when I run the game, oh, it's again went to 0. What I should do? We should save that. We should save the amount of the potion that we had. For example, previously we collected 2. Now it should be 3 and 4, not again 1 and 2. For saving, there are different methods. For example, using player prefab, and also you can use binary or JSON. But for something that is very beginner friendly, we just use the PlayerPrefs. So that is better to understand. But for something that, for example, for inventory system, you have thousands of objects, you cannot use only the player pref. It's better that you use JSON or binary format. So for that, let's do that. Player prefs for saving. Okay, this has been added. Now I want to save that. I say player prefs. Player prefs. As it is an integer, so I say set int. It means that saving the number of something to where. I say a very special name, so I say h potion, and it should be only, for example, if you want to use this, and you should only use this name for saving the health potion. For example, not for the mana or other things. Okay, so H potion, for example, number, I say n. Set int. Okay, this is a holder. For example, it's like a folder that has the name on that. But, okay, set int what? Save what? Save this that has been added. Save this. Okay. So this is saved. When you're saving something, you have to load that. So here we also need to load when the game begins. So we say PlayerPrefs dot getInt. GetInt means kind of loading the integer. Loading what? Loading this folder. This is not a folder. I mean, I just give you examples so you can better understand. Load everything that is related to this. Just that. And you can say the default number of 0. So if nothing has been saved before, it shows 0. That's it. It's a very simple way to save things. But you should be aware that only for small things. Like a number of the portion, that's fine to save this. But not for a large number of datas. And also, this doesn't. It's not good for security, as people might, for example, crack your game and change these numbers. So for complex things and very sensitive information, we should use other methods. But as it is a beginner course, that is completely fine. So let's go and test it. 1, 2, okay. And then let's again play the game to see if that's been saved and loaded correctly. Um, oh, again, we have to go to. Okay, so we do that, and also as the text is going to show this, so let me make this equal to that. So I can load that number and give it to this, so the HPotion text would show that. Let's save it and test the game. So you see we have two things. 3, 4, and you can pause the game and continue. We have 4 of them, and we have 6. So this things works, okay. And okay, but how to use that? There's a portion I'm kind of dying. I need to drink that, but how? So as I want that for the UI, if you want that only works, for example, on the UI, you can add to the unclick button and add the function that I'm going to tell you later. But as I want that, for example, the player also press on the keyboard, for example, on number 1, or either for the Xbox and other things, and also for the UI, so that they would share the same function. So I'm going back to the Unity new input system. So let's go to script player. We have movement player input, and I add an action for um, consume etch. It means etch a health potion. And this is kind of a button. I can add like press only. And then I add, for example, here I go to path 1 on keyboard. And we can add, for example, for the gamepad or other thing, you can just add them. And I hit save. And let's close that. Let's go and write a function. Remember the name, that was consume etch. So what is the name of the function that we should write? Yes, that is on consume etch. So here we have, but right now we don't need that. So we say private void on consume etch. Let's see if it exactly is consume etch. Consume edge, but on. Okay. So for that, we want to check. For example, if there is just 0 potion, then we cannot use that, and this code should not be executed. So we say if, what was that? If int potion is less or equal to 0, then return. Now we say if each potion count is more than 1, so we have some health potion, you could either write this and you say, okay, else do nothing. But I think that is better. So if we have some potions, then when we use that, the number of that would be decreased. For example, we have 4 potions. I drink one of them, so we have 3 potions. So I say HP potion count minus minus. And also I can give it a, so as I want that I decrease the current value of the health player, then I have to have access to this code, to the player health. So I say private player health, player health bar, and player health. And I have to go here. As they're both on the same game object, so I say get components, player, no, mana. Oh, player health, not mana. Yes, for mana we can use, later we add that, but right now we are working on this. All right. So I have this, and I can have access to the code, everything that is public. And let's see if, oh, I have to make it public so I can have access to this value. You can delete this if, because you're already checking here, so you really don't need that. So just do that. And also we need to save the number again. So it means that, okay, you drank the potion and now I decrease the amount and save that. So again, that the game wants to start when we say get int or loading, it will show the number of the potion after I have drank the potion. So I also use this. And so by which amount this potion to increase the health. So I say, for example, private int healing. What is that? Healing amount. For example, what was my health? It was 20, 200, and now I make it 50. Yes, you can just give any number that you want. But I think that it would make more sense that you give this as just a smaller value, not to completely refresh all the health to, 200. This is your decision. This is a game. You can do that. So we have that. And then we say that, okay, it was the, what was the name? That I got the code, player health. That current health value, it should be plus to the, directly you can write that, but write this so we know what is. If you just say 50, so later maybe you wash your code and say, okay, what was 50? But here, okay, it was the healing amount. And you add this to that. All right. Now, imagine that, okay, this is your health, and your health reduced to, for example, an enemy hit you by 2, and your current health is 198. And you consume the potion that it gives you 50, and now your life would exceed even from this. So I have to say, okay, you're allowed to increase the health up to this value. So here I check and say if current value, current health value, no, let's say all of that. Player's value is more than the player health. That I have to make it public as well. That max health value If it's more than that, okay, just you should say that it's equal to this. So give your value to that. So as maximum number, it has this. There's a simpler version instead of this. Do you remember that? We said, okay, this value is equal to mathf.clamp. So okay, I add that to that, but it should have minimum of 0 and maximum of that. So it makes sure that it wouldn't decrease from this, and also it wouldn't exceed from this, and also this. So you can simplify this to this one. And when we decrease that number, also the text should be updated again. So don't forget to add this. We can add it here. And also I did this internally, but the slider is not updating. So do you remember that? Where was that? Take damage, boolean, yes. Whenever you did that, you also need to update your slider. So the slider, I make it public, so I can have access from other codes. Yes. So here I say player health dot slider dot value equals to this one. So the slider is also updated. Let's go to our bottom and add on screen bottom, and the path was 1 on the keyboard, as we have this in the player input. So that was 1. So I also connect it to this. So when I press 1, the health is, this button works. And let's see if everything is okay. Collect them. I lose health. I press 1 and I added this amount of health. I go here and I also press on that. It works and adds 20. And also you see that I decrease the health. You can prevent for example, using this while the health is full. This is your choice. You can use that. But I think that's okay. Maybe you just want to over drink. So that is your decision. And if you want to add for the mana, that is exactly the same thing. So you can do that on your own, because I'm going to later add some more cool things to this, like, adding to speed and something else.